They didn't even change the badge.
In the promotional photo?
Anywhere. On the road.
Really?
On the road.
They didn't even change the badge for the cars they sold?
No. They're driving on the road with the Hyundai badge, but they're sold as a Dodge. They didn't even bother to change the badge.
I thought it was just they were lazy in the promotional photo.
No.
No freaking way.
They just didn't care
at
all.
My gosh.
A Dodge attitude with this mysterious H badge on the front. Yeah. I'm glad you're surprised by that, because my mind was blown. I was like, wow, they made a mistake in the promotional image. They forgot to swap the badge. Like, no. I saw pictures of this car on the road as taxis. You look up Dodge attitude in Mexico, and that's what it shows up as. It wasn't a mistake. They didn't even bother to rebadge it. Welcome, everyone, to the Bose Bros podcast. I'm Mason.
I'm Jordan.
And we're going to jump right into our speed rounds today. 20 questions. You have 20 questions, yes or no questions, to figure out what car I'm thinking of.
Okay. Is it sold in the U.S. market?
Yes.
Okay. Is it European?
No.
Is it Japanese?
Yes.
Okay. Is it from Toyota?
No.
Is it from Nissan?
No.
Is it from Honda?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a hatchback?
Yes.
Okay. Does it have more than 5 seats?
No.
Okay. So that eliminates the Odyssey and the Pilot. Is it currently on sale?
No.
You said it is a hatchback.
Mm-hmm.
Is it from the 90s?
Yes.
Is it a Prelude?
No.
Is it an NSX?
No.
I'm going to kick myself. I don't know the Honda tuner cars. Is it a Civic?
No. Civic's still on sale.
Oh, that's true. Gosh dang it. Waste of a question. It's not on sale.
I feel like you've asked every question you could.
Yeah, now I just have to get the model.
It's a 90s hatchback car that's not on sale anymore. I think there's only, I could be wrong, but it's not a Prelude.
Because the Prelude, I'm pretty sure, had like the fastback. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know the Honda ones very well.
You know this car.
Oh, it's the S2000. That's not hatchback. Gosh dang it. Another waste of a question.
You said Honda 90s tuner cars. I'd say this is like probably the first car that comes to mind for most people.
I know. I'm blanking. I'm like, I failed once last week, and now I can't get it up anymore.
You stumbled. You got 6 more questions.
Okay. It's definitely the Element. No. MR2? No, it's Toyota. Gosh dang it. Don't count that one.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't respond. MR2. No, it was Is it the Del Sol?
No.
Because I know some people consider that not a Civic because it's very different than a regular Civic, but it's called the Civic Del Sol. But people don't really remember that car. How am I going to get the Del Sol and not like the tuner car? I'm thinking of like Fast and Furious movies.
I don't know if it made an appearance.
Yeah.
I know the S2000 did.
keep thinking of the Civic Type R and the Civic Si because those are hatchbacks, but it's not a Civic.
Do you want a hint?
No, not yet. We got time. Just all this you have to edit out.
Yep.
No. Is it a two-door?
Mm-hmm.
Two-door hatchback.
You didn't ask about seats.
I'm assuming it's a three-seater if it is a hatchback. Is it, or is 3 seats in the back? So does it have 2 seats? Is it a two-seater?
In the U.S., yes.
Am I going to kick myself for this too?
Not as much as the last one.
Not as much as the Beetle.
Not nearly as much as that one, but it's still pretty iconic. You could get it with more than 2 seats, but if I'm not mistaken, it was only a 2-seater here.
All right, what's your hint?
You would know this car instantly by the silhouette. It's a very unique side profile.
Oh, it's the CRS?
Close.
So the CRV.
You're right there. What is
CVR?
No.
Oh my gosh. CRX?
You got it.
I thought about that, but I was like, that's not... I thought about that car, and I just kept going like, I don't know the name off the top of my head. I'll go elsewhere.
Yeah.
But it's a front-wheel drive... It's not as iconic as... I don't think of that as like the iconic Honda. I think of the Prelude.
Yeah. Except for a lot of people, this car immediately would come to mind. As far as 90s Honda tuners. Like,
that's true.
I feel like the CRX is pretty...
Yeah, I was like, what else is there besides the Prelude? And then that little Econo box.
When I was doing my research for this, I was surprised. In the U.S. market, it only had 2 seats. But everywhere else, they had 3 seats in the back. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, those wheels. Same on the Diablo. Same on the Stealth. Very 90s.
Mm-hmm.
20. Right. Oh, geez, another one. Okay.
You have 20 questions.
You're proud of this one. I could see it on your face. All right, go ahead.
You have 20 yes or no questions to guess what car I'm thinking of. And I will tell you, you need to specify the trim on this one.
Then I get 21 questions.
Fine.
Okay. All right. Is it sold in the U.S. market?
Yes.
Okay. Is it American?
Yes.
Okay. Is it from the big 3?
Yes.
Is it from Chrysler Corp?
No.
Is it from Ford?
No.
Okay. Is it currently on sale?
No. That's a complicated question.
Is the trim you're talking about currently on sale? Okay.
I don't think the car is on sale here. May have said too much. But it's a complicated question.
Is it a Chevy Caprice Pursuit?
No.
Okay. Because that is on sale here. Did you see the Doug DeMura video about that?
They're selling that car into more than just law enforcement now?
They sell it elsewhere in the world. That's the only thing they sell it for is fleet here.
Yeah, but they don't sell direct to consumer here.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought that's why you were...
No, it's not that. Most people wouldn't know that. I just happen to know that because I researched it.
Okay. It's a very obscure one to go for right away. But it fits, at least the questions I had so far. Okay. Is it from Pontiac?
No.
U.S. market. It's American. Is it from Chevrolet?
Yes.
Oh. Is it the Camaro ZL1?
No.
Because the Camaro ended production for 24.
I think they're on sale through 24.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So technically they're still on sale.
Oh, I guess, yeah. They're not making any new ones.
But no, it's not.
Yeah. What am I at? Like 12?
10.
10, okay. Whew. Opposite problem from last time. Okay, it's a Chevrolet. I just touched the mic. It's a Chevrolet. Is it 2 doors?
No.
Is it a truck?
What's your definition of truck?
Does it have a bed?
No.
Okay. I don't know how otherwise we would. That does give it away a bit, because then it's. Is it an SUV?
Yes.
But it has more than 2 doors, so it's not a Blazer.
Is that a question?
No.
Okay.
It's a statement. I know it's not a Blazer because, well, they did have the Trailblazer that had 4 doors. But you wouldn't care about a Trailblazer. But it is from Chevrolet. Okay. Is it a Suburban?
No.
Is it a Tahoe?
No.
Was it on sale after the year 2000?
Yes.
It's an SUV. It's from Chevrolet.
Mm-hmm.
It was on sale after the year 2000, but kind of not now.
I don't want you to get too tripped up on this. The trim is definitely not on sale anywhere. The vehicle name is still being used elsewhere in the world, technically. But it's not the same vehicle that I'm talking about.
Is it a Blazer?
No.
Is this one I'm going to just go blah?
I'm starting to think you actually don't know about this car, which would surprise me.
Because Chevy had the Suburban, the Tahoe, the Trailblazer. They had...
And you guessed Chevy. You guessed... Which ones did you guess? Blazer, Suburban,
Tahoe.
Tahoe.
I did not guess Trailblazer, but you wouldn't care about a Trailblazer. There is an SS version of a Trailblazer. Yeah, I probably don't know what this car is. It's definitely... Was it on sale after 2010?
No.
Now I'm thinking it's a weird one-off like the Chevy SSR or whatever. Is the model name one that I would recognize?
Yeah.
It's not a pickup truck.
You already asked that.
I know. Just thinking out loud.
Are you asking again?
No.
Okay.
Not like Germany.
You saw that.
Yeah. Again.
None of us... I noticed, realized that till I was editing, and I was like...
Got him. Yeah.
You definitely know what it is.
A Chevrolet SUV.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a Trailblazer. A Blazer.
You didn't ask Trailblazer.
Is it a Trailblazer?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I'm at 20?
You're at 20.
Is it Trailblazer SS?
Yeah.
I was dancing around that the whole time. I'm like, why would you
just
care?
decided that wasn't it. I'm like, okay. Like, all on your own. I'm like, well, now he's definitely not going
I was like, what the heck else is there?
You were like, Tahoe, no. Suburban, no. Blazer, no. Well, it's not a Trailblazer. I'm like, I mean, it is, but you just decided it's not, so...
Did you pick that because Alan has a version of that car?
Is the Envoy? I guess it is.
It's the same car.
Okay. Oh, GMC.
Yeah.
Envoy, yeah. No, I just kind of like that car.
Ah, okay.
It has a LS.
I do like
V8.
the...
It's got 400 horsepower.
Yeah, you get the same V8 in Alan's car.
The LS?
In the Denali? I'm pretty sure you can.
Oh, wow. And it's like lowered.
His his engine's basically an LS as it is. He has a straight six with the same cylinder architecture as an LS.
Yeah, that was competition for the Grand Cherokee SRT.
Grand Cherokee had 385? No,
425.
All right, you got any more 20 questions?
No.
Okay.
No, this one's over to you.
Okay. Marketplace Mayhem. And I have no images on this for some reason. Okay. So I saw this today. They're not selling the car. They're just selling this thing that I guess was sold for the Jeep Cherokee. It's a kit to convert your Jeep Cherokee to right-hand drive for mail truck drivers.
Oh, I'm like, what specifically about males versus females means that? I was like, oh, male driver. Okay.
Yeah. So right side steering kit out of a 2000 Jeep Cherokee. Also have us mail. I think he means US mail magnets too. In case someone wants to impersonate a mail carrier.
Or there's people that drive for Amazon and stuff. Personally.
Yes, but not for USPS.
Yeah, well, you leave the magnets out, but the main thing they're selling is the steering conversion.
I guess that's true. I don't know.
It's a very unique, like, I don't know who's like, finally.
Yeah.
I've been needing to convert my 2000 Jeep Cherokee to right-hand drive.
This absolutely looks like a home-cooked project. This does not look like a kit made by the U.S. government.
Well, and the fact that it's a belt means that's going to get out of synchronization very quickly. Although, I guess there isn't really like a top or bottom to that steering wheel.
And so there's no tensioner, really, so I don't know how you tension it.
Yeah. $1,100 is steep for a very niche.
Yeah, and really dubious-looking kit. So,
like, how much does a 2000 Jeep Cherokee sell for?
About $1,000.
Yeah, so, like, you may as well sell the whole car with that in it.
Yeah, maybe he wants to keep it, and he's like, man, I really wish I could get it on the other side. But, like, there's kits with that you have to change the pedals and everything.
Yeah. Well, it looks like
this is the only picture, by the way, and it was taken with a potato.
Yeah.
As the camera. So, anyway, that's a short one, but I wanted to show you that because I thought it was funny.
That is funny.
This next one is a question. What is the definition of delusional? And before you answer,
okay, I
already have it. Go to the next one. There's no way anyone can read this, so I'm just going to skim through it. But look at the picture and tell me what's that worth to you?
It depends whether or not I was making a Breaking Bad fan film.
Exactly, right? Okay, has been sitting for a few years. That's an understatement. There's more pictures to come. But only has 5,900 miles on a 454 motor and automatic transmission. Everything in this time capsule is in great shape. That's a lie. I have more photos. You can drive it anywhere. Needs couch and bed, but that's all the ACS below super cold.
AC blow super cold.
Right. Okay. I'm just emphasizing that I don't think there's a period anywhere in the next 300 words he wrote.
Okay. So how much do they want for it?
They want $1,234.
I mean, how much is that engine worth?
The engine's more expensive than that, but it's going to cost me more than that to get rid of the stupid RV it's attached to.
I wonder if you could message him and be like, can I just have the engine?
And then you can sell this to some other poor sap.
Which you won't, but that's not your problem.
Right. Yeah, so he has a bunch of stuff. It was appraised in 2019 for $13,000, so it's a great deal. I'm only selling it because me and my son are building his Fox Body Mustang, and I'm short on funds. Anyway, he keeps going and going and going, and he's saying like $18 for tag I purchased at an estate sale, yada, yada, yada. No one needs to know your life story. But at the bottom, it gets to, I will consider trade for full-size short bed truck, good running and nice all years and models considered, or a muscle car that is good running and nice inside and out. Drag cars are also considered.
That's worth a heck of a lot more than, what, $1,200? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. So he's like, I will accept, this is what I mean by delusional. Okay. And let's just back up to the top here. And it said, he said, this time capsule is in great shape. Go ahead and move on to the next photo. Now, you can't tell from the pictures, but there's cabinet from the smaller picture you're going to see on the internet, but there is not a single surface that isn't completely covered in grime and dirt and what looks like rainwater. There's water coming in through the ceiling. There's water stains around everything. The cabinet doors are falling off. There's grime and animal feces. Like, it clearly has been open to the elements for years.
Yeah, that's rough.
Like, either the windows are broken or they left the door open.
And this is Georgia? Where is this?
This is Georgia, yeah.
So there's humidity and there's...
It's ruined. It's ruined. It's all scrap. And this guy's like, this time capsule is in great shape.
This antique.
Yeah. I wish you could appreciate how gross this looks from the internet, but the picture's going to be too small.
Honestly, like the $1,200 for it,
But it's just...
It's the... I'll trade for a nice truck or a nice muscle car. That's where it's like...
What?
Yeah, that you're out of your mind.
Yeah. But my favorite part was like, it's in great shape. And I'm like scrolling through the pictures and I get to this and I look over at the description and I go, great shape. It's bad. There's more pictures, but I just included these ones. It's...
Yeah, that's pretty delusional.
Yeah. All right. There's more. I wanted to ask you, which of these would you be okay being seen in?
Oh gosh.
Which one of these would you not want to shoot yourself driving? Or which one would you want to shoot yourself the least?
What's the question, Jordan?
Let's back up. Of these 4 cars, which one makes you want to commit suicide the least, being behind the wheel?
You can't say that.
Okay. Of these 4 cars, which one are you most okay with being seen in?
The top right one's pretty cool. Is that a Subaru up there?
It is a Subaru Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's not bad. I don't mind that one.
Or is it a Legacy? I don't remember.
And honestly, the bottom left, that Toyota, that's easy enough to just take the decal off. Right?
Yeah, engine's blown in that one.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess no one's going to see me in it, so
Yeah.
not going anywhere.
But that top left one, I mean,
yeah, no.
that is negative IQ on the person who put that together. And
My
the bottom
understanding
right,
is that trend was so you can illuminate rocks and stuff underneath the chassis, like while you're off-roading.
oh, is
There's
that
underbody lights, but people use it to like show off their
suspension
frames
and
and
whatever?
stuff,
Like, he's
their
got
cable.
bright pink suspension components. He's got these wheel spacers on so he can murder other people on the road by accident.
yeah.
Yeah, and then he wanted like $20,000 for that thing, and it's a 2012 with over 200,000 miles. And I was like, well, we already knew you were stupid from the truck, but that's a nail in the coffin there. And the bottom right one has got an ungodly amount of money spent in custom work and batteries and stuff to make it one of those cars that like bounces and whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Lowrider with air suspension.
Yeah, with tires off of a go-kart.
That's the
And-
tires you need.
Yeah.
You need little tires like that so you can ride low and you can bounce it.
Yeah, if you've done enough drugs to think that that's cool, then more power to you.
I respect the craft without... It's not for me, but...
Right. I, on the other hand, don't respect the craft.
Yeah.
Just like that one on the top left. At least the one on the bottom right isn't outright dangerous like the one on the top left. Because
the European mind cannot comprehend that picture of that truck. Like the number of things that legally, like, just
you can't do in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen how wheel spacers break off? You saw that video of that Kia Soul get flipped up in the air, right?
And then people put like 3, 4, 5 of them on there.
Yeah. And they're just think it's fine until it snaps off. But yeah, you see people driving around with that setup, and I just go, not did, but how many times were you dropped on your head? It's... Anyway, I would probably get in the Subaru and have a blast because there's
Subaru's
pictures...
fine.
There's pictures of that thing like actually getting some air and stuff.
Yeah, that thing's cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind the top right, even though it's been chopped up with an angle grinder and whatever.
All right.
This, you will never, ever, 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 ever guess what that car is.
That makes me believe it wasn't originally a sedan, which is what it's meant to look like.
It was originally a sedan.
Like a Ford Taurus?
Nope. I can give you a million guesses. Even people who have owned and driven this car And maybe someone who drove this car for 20 years wouldn't be able to tell you.
So I take it this immaculate bodywork is
yes,
not factory.
That riveting is hand done, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That is a Saturn SL2 from 1997. Oh. Not exactly the car that I would turn into a race car. But it says the engine's missing, but you can argue for the transmission. And if you go to the next picture, you can see it's already installed.
It is in the car.
Yep. There is what looks like a broken engine mount there, or motor mount on the side. So I think that's as close as you're going to get it to being installed.
Is this what it started out life as?
Just because no one knows what a Saturn SL2 is supposed to look like.
I instantly recognize that car, but I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Never tell you what it is. Yeah. So this is what the car started life as, and I actually had to really check. The only thing left is that front left fender. If you go back with that line over the flare, go back to the picture I had. You can see there's that line right over the flare.
Okay, yeah.
So even though it's been probably dented and hammered back.
Looks like a demo derby car.
It does.
Which that could be fun.
It could be. I just can't imagine going for a front-wheel drive demo derby car.
Yeah.
But I guess cheap.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that was it.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Here's a new segment this week.
Celebrity Daily Drivers.
This segment is called Celebrity Daily Drivers. I'm going to show you a picture of 3 celebrities, and you're going to tell me what of the 3 cars they drive. So I'm going to show you 3 celebrities and 3 daily drivers. And I intentionally pick cars that are fairly normal cars, innocuous vehicles. Obviously, celebrities can afford whatever. These 3 celebrities drive cars that you may regularly see on the road. And I want to see if you can match the celebrity with the car they drive.
Okay.
So, see if you can figure this out. First up, this is their daily driver. We have Bradley Cooper.
Okay.
We have
Colin Farrell.
And we have Ronda Rousey.
Okay.
Which one?
Ronda Rousey drives a Subaru. I already know it.
She has a kid.
Oh, okay, never mind.
A biological kid.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
Could be wrong.
That would just be my first guess.
Which one drives the 1996 Ford Bronco, the 2007 Toyota Prius, and which one drives the 2005 Honda Accord as their daily driver?
Oh my gosh. I have no idea. I'm never going to get this right. I would have to guess.
All right, so let's start with Bradley Cooper. Which one does he drive?
He's got to drive the Accord.
He drives the Accord?
That's my guess.
He actually rides around in a 2007 Toyota Prius.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. And Colin Farrell doesn't seem like the off-road truck kind of guy.
You think he drives the Accord? You think Ronda Rousey drives the Bronco?
Yeah, sure, because I have no clue. I'm not going to pretend like I have any idea what these people are like.
So he actually drives this car all the time. There's loads of pictures of him in it. Like, he loves this car.
Okay, then it's got to be the Bronco.
Yeah. He drives the Bronco, 1996 Ford Bronco.
Yeah, because no one's going to go like, oh, I wonder who's behind the wheel of that Accord.
I love this Accord, yeah.
Yeah.
The Bronco's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Ronda Rousey actually drives in this Honda Accord, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, she actually lived out of for a while until she made it big in UFC. And she actually just sold it, I don't know if it was recently, but a couple of years ago, sold it. But yeah, she had the car for a long time, and I believe actually lived out of it.
There is no chance I was going to get that.
Well, I'll give you another chance.
Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. 3 more people I don't know and 3 cars.
Well, you know these people, but you know very little about them.
I could name a couple of things that they've been in, but I can't tell you like, oh yeah, he's an avid reader. Like, I don't freaking know.
So this segment's called Celebrity Daily Drivers. I'm going to show you pictures of 3 celebrities and 3 daily driver vehicles. These are the cars that they drive around in daily.
Okay.
So we'll start things off with Taylor Swift.
Doesn't she drive around in a private jet?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, okay.
And Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien. All right, let's see.
Which one, this is their day-to-day car,
It's 3 Priuses, isn't it?
drives around in a 1992 Ford Taurus Show, a 2003 Toyota Tacoma, and as their daily driver, a 2011 Dassault Falcon 900LX.
I even called it. I want to say Taylor Swift is the whatever that you said, Assault Falcon?
Dassault.
Okay.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
That is correct.
Because she doesn't drive. Even 30-minute drives, she's been known to take that jet.
Yep. That's her daily driver.
It's like, you go to the grocery store.
All right, so you have the 2003 Tacoma and the what was the one?
The show.
Oh yeah, the 92 Ford Taurus Show. So which one does Christian Bale drive?
Christian Bale drives the pickup truck.
Yeah. He actually has had that car since, I believe, 2003 and drives it everywhere.
Wow. And then the only reason I went with Conan as the Taurus Show is my guess is that car came out at the same time that he had his first talk show. It's probably the first car he got. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I don't know if he still drives that, but he did own it.
Because he's got to be 10 years older than Christian Bale.
Yeah. And Christian Bale is very, he doesn't care for, vanity things. He doesn't care about cars or whatever. So he got probably what's the most practical vehicle you could buy. Just a 2003 Toyota Tacoma, and then has driven it for 20 years.
Alrighty. You got another celebrity one? You set up 3 of these? Oh, trivia. No. Okay.
Okay.
Did you do trivia?
I did.
All right. This is yours?
This is mine. Now, you're going to have to think about. Name the 5 countries with the most cars. This is total vehicles. Cars, I guess. I should say. Not necessarily vehicles, but total cars.
U.S., India, Canada. Not Canada. Yeah. U.S., India, China.
United States is number 2. China is number 1. India is number 5.
Okay. So there's 3. I need
Canada is not in the top 10. You just need 5. Which are the top 5?
Japan's really small in geographical area. So it makes me... And India... If India is 5... India is a much poorer country per capita.
That's why it's kind of a complicated question.
Japan?
Japan's number 4.
Okay.
So you just have number 3.
Number 3, and Canada's not on there.
Canada's not even in the top 10.
A bigger country in Europe that people have a lot of highways. I'm going to guess Germany.
Germany's number 7.
Okay. England?
England's not in the top 10.
Okay. Is it France?
France is number 10.
I thought you said another one was number 10.
No, you said Germany. I said Germany.
Oh, you said Canada's not in the top 10.
Canada's not in the top 10.
Okay.
We're still looking for number 3.
I mean, Italy.
Italy's number 9.
Jeez, I'm getting all of these.
Yeah.
So what would number 3 be?
You're missing just number 3 and number 6 and number 8. But really, you need
Mexico.
Mexico is number 8.
So the question was name the cars in the top 10.
The question was name the top 5, but I listed the top 10 just for reference.
Okay.
So you need number 3. I'll say these last 2 are geographically large countries.
Russia.
Russia's number 6.
Russia's not number 3? Well, Russia has the total GDP of the state of Florida.
Yeah, that's why it's kind of a complicated question, because it's not necessarily the population. It's population times the number of cars per person.
Is it Spain?
Nope. It is not in the Eastern Hemisphere.
Brazil.
It is Brazil.
Brazil's a big car market. I should have thought.
Yeah, it's surprising. Brazil's number 3, right behind the U.S. I mean, not right behind the U.S. Check out how many cars.
I should have known, because there's a lot of vehicles made by Stellantis that are sold only in Brazil.
And honestly, Stellantis does a lot better there than they are currently doing here.
Which is part of my news segment.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
Check out the discrepancy between China and the U.S. and then the rest of the world.
Yeah.
That drop-off is steep. It's basically China and the U.S. Interestingly, China and the U.S. have more cars than the rest of that list combined, plus another 100 million vehicles.
Jeez.
126 million.
91 cars per 100 people. China's 23 cars per 100 people.
And that's people, not licensed drivers. That's children, elderly, people who otherwise can't drive. So that's definitely more than one per licensed driver.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah. All right. Next trivia question.
Okay.
Name the 5 fastest depreciating cars. This is from 2018 to the end of 2023.
Nissan Altima. No. This is going to be the other end of the spectrum. Rolls-Royce Phantom.
No, but you're thinking the right direction.
Bentley Bentayga.
No.
Bentley Flying Spur.
No. I'll tell you 2 makes make up most of this list.
BMW i7.
Not the i7.
BMW X7.
Not the X7.
BMW iX.
Nope. This is cars sold in 2018.
Oh, because it wasn't sold in 2018.
This is over a period of 5 years. So cars sold in 2018, how much they depreciated by 2023?
BMW M5. No.
I'll give it to
5
you.
Series.
The 5 Series hybrid specifically dropped 59% in 5 years, or $38,000.
Wow. BMW 3 Series then.
Other direction.
BMW 7 Series.
Yes, that's number 2, 62%.
Mercedes S-Class.
No Mercedes on the list. At least in the top 10.
BMW X5.
That's number 6.
BMW X3.
There's no more BMWs. You got them all.
Okay. No Mercedes. It's not going to be a Ferrari. Aston Martin?
Aston Martin, but you were on the right track with Ferrari.
Really?
Not Ferrari.
Not Ferrari. Lamborghini.
You were closer with Ferrari, but not Ferrari.
Maserati. Maserati Gran Torino. Gran Turismo.
No.
What's it called? Maserati Ghibli.
That was number 3, 61%.
Maserati Quattroporte.
That's number 1, 65% depreciation. Keep in mind, this was, it'll be interesting to look at this 5 years from when Fisker Oceans went on sale, because I think those will be the top of the list. I almost covered it, but Fisker is... I'm covering it in my new segment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad I both saw that.
You have everything but number 5, which is a domestic vehicle. These are all luxury cars in this top 10. This one actually kind of surprised me.
Cadillac Escalade?
Yeah, you got it, yeah. The ESV specifically. Yeah. All luxury cars, which is pretty typical. Luxury cars depreciate pretty fast.
Yeah, I was like, what car? My first thought was, what car is driven by somebody who is going to absolutely trash the resale value? Nissan Altima.
Yeah, but those already start
so low. Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah. When you're already digging through the gutter to get a new car.
Kira's in Virginia right now. Do you know what car they gave her as a rental?
Was it an Altima?
Yeah.
I hope she crashes it just to keep with trend. She just like runs it into curbs, and it's something about like what they put in the interior that it like off gases some hallucinogen or something, so the drivers all just like go the wrong direction.
Do they come from the factory with the bumper hanging?
I think so. I think it's actually an option. You got to pay more for that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's an average over 5 years. It comes from Visual Capitalist as of the end of 2023. And yeah, luxury cars typically among the top. All right, let's go the opposite direction. Name the 5 slowest depreciating cars. Same time frame, 2018 to 2023. Which cars retained their value the best?
RAV4.
No, but you are definitely on the right track.
Camry. Camry?
It is on there. I thought. No, it's not on there. I thought it was.
Honda CRV.
That wasn't on there either, but you're very close.
Honda Pilot.
No, you're like skating around him.
Honda Accord.
No.
My gosh.
Yeah.
I've got none so far. Toyota Corolla.
Yes. Toyota Corolla was number 10.
Honda Civic.
Honda Civic's number 5.
And then the Chevy Silverado.
There's one Chevy on the list, but it's not a Silverado.
It's not a C8. That's got to depreciate quick. Suburban?
No. This one surprised me. Well, honestly, that one's on the top 5, so I want to focus on that one.
Okay. Then
You got Honda Civic.
Ford F-150.
Not a lot of domestic cars that keep their value well.
Well, I know trucks do, generally. So I thought maybe they're pickups.
There's no pickups on this list.
Really? Toyota Highlander.
No.
Am I just...
Oh, no, never mind. There's one pickup, number 3.
Tundra.
Close.
Tacoma. The Tacoma. The Taco.
Tacoma only loses 20% of its value after 5 years.
That makes sense.
Well, it'll probably change now with the new generation out. Typically, you see a bit of a drop.
In the value of the old one, yeah. But, I mean, have you seen the new one? They're cool, but they're giant. You're buying a mid-sized truck to get a mid-sized truck.
Proportion-wise, it's honestly not that much bigger.
It looks giant.
It looks bigger, for
But
sure. Because it looks more like the Tundra.
the Dakota was closer to a full-size truck than a mid-sized truck when it came out. And now it is dwarfed by every mid-sized truck on the road. So, anyway. Wrangler?
Yep.
Yeah, Wrangler's normally on there. How many have I gotten of the top 5?
You got 3, 4, and 5. The Tacoma, the Wrangler, and the Civic. I'll say number 1 and 2 are completely off in a different direction from the rest of this list. I was shocked.
Number 1 will shock you.
Number 1 and 2.
Weird.
Number 1 only lost 9% of its value over 5 years.
Model 3.
No.
Because I know in the last few
Even
months it's been
further removed. You're thinking practical, Japanese, relatively inexpensive cars. Those are usually the ones that retain their value decently well. This is...
Couldn't be less from it.
Yeah.
Range Rover?
No, but they are luxury cars.
Really?
Yeah.
Mercedes?
So,
No, it's not.
from what I can gather, I think because there's so much customization and personalization that goes into these cars,
Porsches.
people hold on to them longer.
Porsches. So they don't change hands as many times, so the value goes up because they're one owner.
I think so. I think that's my thinking.
So it's a 911 and a Panamera.
Not Panamera.
Cayenne.
Nope.
Macan?
Nope.
Oh, Cayman.
Yep. Yeah. Look how wildly different those first two are compared to the rest of that list.
Do you know what's crazy, though? Is they can't keep a lot of 911s or Caymans on the lot. They just come and go. People will buy them at sticker. That new $350,000 911 is selling for over $300,000 above sticker.
That's insane.
People are spending $750,000 on a 911.
Well, our uncle has one, and they waited a long time, and they customize everything from like the stitching. This isn't. I didn't do research on why Porsche specifically retain their value, but I think that's probably a big part of it.
It's got to be
because you have such a personal connection when you customize every little thing about it that you
keep it.
You keep it, and if you do sell it, you're not just going to sell it for half what you bought it for.
And Jason Fensky did the math for a Throttle House video, actually. Jason Fensky from Engineering Explained. He did the math just as a joke for a Throttle House video. They said, okay, how long would it take Porsche to build every version of the Panamera that they could? Like every schematic you could option. And he said, well, he did the math and he's like, well, it would take them until at their current production rate, the heat death of the universe.
There's that many options.
Yeah.
And they just don't have the kind of production
It's
capacity.
like 10 to the 27.
Yeah.
It's something stupid that they just don't have the ability to, like, you can pick anything, but they can't make one of everything.
No, but they're not
going to.
need to.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think people probably stick to generally like
A pretty small palette.
Right.
Yeah. No one's like, I really need the pink outside and the pink stitching.
But you can. I assume
Good.
you can.
You can also go in and have them color match anything you bring in.
Yeah. See, I think that's a big part of why.
It could,
such a
it could be.
personal connection.
But the
to
thing
car.
that they can't sell, though, you can't give someone a 718 with a 4-cylinder.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The turbo 4-cylinders just sit.
Huh.
Everything else they sell. Everything else flies off the shelves. But the 4-cylinder came in, no one's interested.
Is it significantly cheaper?
It's somewhat cheaper, yeah. But
Not cheap enough that you would get that over.
it's not being given away. It's not being dropped freely from airplanes.
Yeah.
So
Which is the only way someone would get that over the
over the 6-cylinder.
flat six. Right? Isn't it a flat six?
Yeah, they would step up to get a 911, or they would get an older 718 that has the flat 6.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if they use the same 6-cylinder in the Cayman.
it's similar, but it's smaller
Yeah.
and lower output because the Cayman's platform is better than the 911.
You're not allowed to say that.
I know, but because it's mid-engine, they don't have as many engineering hurdles to get around. They turned everything down artificially to make the Cayman slower than the 911, even with a
Because they're just
smaller engine.
Stubborn German engineers.
Because they will not change the formula of the 911, and that's what sells, and that's what people know. So it can't come out with a cheaper car that's faster than a 911, even though it absolutely could be if they let it.
It's funny they have to go to like make it a hypercar, to one up the 911. Like they have to do a 918 Spider or a Carrera GT or something. Mm-hmm. Even though the Cayman could very well be
Faster than a 911.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, it's a much more diverse list. Luxury cars are just the entire top 10 of most appreciating. And
Yeah.
here, you had quite the list. You had pickups, you had cars, you had Porsches that retain their value well. 6 out of the top 10 are Japanese, and then Porsches are generally more reliable as far as luxury cars go, and people just don't sell them
Yeah.
after they buy them.
So if you're going to use one, your likelihood of getting a single owner is much higher, I think. Yeah.
And people are just more apprehensive to sell it, so they need to be motivated to sell it, which means they have to get more for it. Mm-hmm. All right.
Most American. Are you saying the most parts built in America or the most parts assembled in America? How are we talking about this?
Look over here for 1 second. So what are the most American cars by the Cars.com American Made Index for 2024? Which includes, you can look right here. Factors include assembly location, percentage of U.S. and Canadian parts, available engine origin, available transmission origin, and the percentage of U.S. manufacturing employees relative to the manufacturer's footprint.
So Cars.com did their homework. You didn't just Google like where they're built.
Cars.com does this every single year.
Okay, well, the up top is going to be the Accord and the Camry.
Look over here for 1 second. I'm going to go back. Okay.
The Accord and the Camry are both very American. The Tesla Model S.
The Camry's number 7. The Model S is number 4.
The Model 3.
The Model 3 used to be number 1.
But
And now it's not even on the top 10.
Because batteries are now made in China. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot more parts and employees aren't U.S. based anymore.
Model X.
Model X is number 9.
Model Y.
Model Y is number 1.
The most American car.
It is the most.
And what about the Camry?
Number 7.
Okay, so I've gotten 1, 5.
1 and 4. Tesla Model S is number 4.
And the Y is top one. Okay. Next one's going to be Volkswagen Passat.
No.
Not on the list. Okay. I know they have a Chattanooga plant.
They do. And they do have a car on this list.
Atlas?
It's not going to be one I think you're going to guess. When in our 20 questions earlier, it wasn't even a car you mentioned.
Teos?
Mm-mm.
Tiguan?
Mm-mm.
CC? They don't sell that anymore.
Um,
Arteon?
No, it's the ID4. Their electric car.
Yeah, no one thinks of that car.
Yeah. But yeah, that's number 3.
That's the only vehicle on sale you cannot get anything other than drum brakes on the back.
That's crazy.
It's a vehicle comes standard with drum brakes and you can't option
You
it.
just don't need them because the regen is strong.
I don't know why. I can't imagine drum brakes ever costing less than disc brakes. I don't get it. I don't get how they're cheaper.
Yeah.
They're just so much more complicated to put together, and I don't know. Anyway.
So number 1's Model Y, number 3 is a Volkswagen ID4, number 4 is a Model S. You're still missing number 2 and number 5, and they are the same manufacturer.
Is it a Japanese manufacturer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's probably Toyota.
Nope.
It's Honda. Mm-hmm. And the Accord you said isn't up there. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say it's a Civic.
Accord is not, or Civic's not in the top 10 either.
Oh. Ridgeline?
Ridgeline's number 6. Number 2 and number 5 are also Honda.
The same platform because they're going to be built in the same plant. So that's going to be a CRV.
No.
Pilot?
Nope. It's a very popular car, especially in our demographic.
Oh, Odyssey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 5.
And then what's left? Number 2?
Mm-hmm.
What's the second most American car? And it's also by Honda. Mm-hmm. It's not the Ridgeline, not the CRV, not the Pilot, not the Accord or Civic. Insight?
They still make that?
I think it's dead for 25.
I didn't even know that made that.
Yeah, you can get like 50 miles to the gallon in it.
No, it's the Passport.
Oh, yeah, I was never going to guess that.
Yeah. This list actually for last year was dominated by Tesla. Mm-hmm. They had the 3, the X, the Y, and the S were all like in the top 5.
I see.
So it was like, which I'm amazed they didn't lean on that. Especially for people that are apprehensive, Americans that are kind of like lean into the fact that they're like, we're the most American car maker. Like, look at our cars are all in the top 5 most American. Like, if you want to convince middle America to like go electric,
they really should have, but they don't do any marketing. They don't have a marketing team.
No, but like on their website, like even like I think of the Hennessy Venom F5.
That's
not Venom F5. The Hennessy, Venom F5. They got American flags, got Texas flags in it, in the upholstery and the handles and stuff. And it's sold, I think it's sold internationally too, like at least will be. And it's like they really lean on like this thing's made in America.
Yeah.
Like, Elon Musk owns that company and he's very patriotic, loves America.
Wait, he owns Hennessy? Oh, Tesla.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, like you would think like...
Does John Hennessy own Hennessy?
Yeah, no, he does. But like I wouldn't picture Elon Musk as being apprehensive to put American flags in the car.
American exceptionalism is kind of part of Elon Musk's brand.
Right. And like you can lean on that because it's not like having an American flag put on the engine bay of a
Ram
Charger or a Ram
that's not
kind of falls flat because it's not actually built there. It's built in Mexico.
Yeah.
But like you can put them all over the place.
Or the engine's in a Windsor, Canada plant. Yeah. Or wherever it is. I don't know if Windsor's in Canada. Wherever it is.
But anyway, I'm surprised Tesla doesn't lean on that more. But no, they dropped off the list a little bit this year. Except for the Model Y. Model Y is basically entirely made here. Parts, workforce, manufacturing.
Which is weird because it's on the same platform as the Model 3.
Yeah, I don't know. They must be a lot of parts, at least whatever parts are not shared between them.
Yeah.
Made elsewhere.
Yeah, any more trivia for me?
Oh, yeah, one last one. What is the longest lasting single generation of a car?
Volkswagen Beetle.
Okay, yep. Beetle Type 1, 1938 to 2003. I don't know if that will ever be topped.
No.
65 years with very minimal changes. I'm going to show you a side-by-side in a second here. And also the highest production total of a car. 21 million sold over the course of that single generation.
That's never going to be beat.
No.
The only thing... Yeah, the only there's another record that will never be beat, which is not held by that. At a certain point, the Ford Model T was more than 90% of vehicles on the road.
Yeah. If that does ever happen again, something has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah. If we're all driving around in Ford Model Ts again, it's very bad.
Or we're all driving, 90% of us driving the same car, that means there are no other auto manufacturers, or cars are just so scarce.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But yeah, Volkswagen Beetle. That was the very first one, 1938, and then the last one you can get in 2003, which actually overlapped with the new Beetle by a couple of years.
Yeah, it is crazy how much that didn't change.
Yeah.
There's the headlights are pointed forward more instead of up.
I noticed that. I also noticed the mirrors are a little different. The bumper's a little bit different. But yeah, I mean...
That does not look like a 2003 on the right.
No, it doesn't. Interestingly, they actually were going to do a revision of this in like the late 50s. And they made it all the way through design sketches. And I think they even made a couple concepts. But they...
Scrapped it?
Didn't do it. Yeah, just kept going with the old one.
Wow. And when you see it in black and white, you see the 1930s aesthetic way more.
For sure.
And sort of the teardrop shape of like the Chrysler Airflow from the day.
Yeah.
Like that was... It definitely looks like a 1930s car when you put it in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay. Sorry, I have one more question for you. I think you're really going to like this question.
Okay.
Name 5 car badges with animals on them that are not horses or cats.
Ford Falcon.
Yes.
It's not on your list because it was sold in the...
Yes. Now, I'm talking a picture of an animal, and this could be on the...
Oh, the badges.
The badge.
Okay, Thunderbird.
Yes. So it could be the make, the model, or even the trim, if the trim has a picture of it.
It's not Jaguar.
Yeah, it's a cat.
Yeah.
Here are all the cat and horse badges. So you're looking for 5 that don't have a cat or a horse. You named 1, the Thunderbird, and I think the Falcon.
Impala.
Impala's another one. That's an antelope.
I thought it was an Impala.
It's under the umbrella of antelope. I actually had to do a surprising amount of like
What's
zoological research to categorize these. Way more than I thought I was going to prepare for this question.
Cadillac.
They don't have an animal on there.
On their badge, I'm pretty sure they have a bird, don't they? In like one of the corners?
They have wings. I didn't qualify wings. Because a lot of Bentley has wings, Aston Martin has wings. I didn't count that.
I mean, I got a couple of the hard ones, right?
Yeah. Those are the cat and horse badges. Quite a lot.
Stuttgart.
Porsche.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they had a horse on their badge.
Now that you mention it, neither did I.
Yeah.
Just blends in. And this is a picture of the animal. So I got the Impala, the Falcon.
A logo that
Thunderbird.
has the animal on it. It could be on the inside if it's a logo, like as a picture of it. Not something aftermarket.
Viper.
Yep.
Roadrunner. It has a picture of a Roadrunner on the dash.
It does?
Or on the side. The Mimi Roadrunner.
It does definitely have it on the air cleaner. I know that. So I guess I'll count that. Sure.
That's 5.
Yeah, that's 5.
What were you thinking?
These are the ones I came up with.
Oh, Vauxhall. But you had a Vauxhall in the last one.
Did I?
Yeah, in the last
I may have not forgot to delete it.
Oh, no, that's Holden.
Holden.
I always get those two mixed up.
There's a lot of lions.
Yeah.
Oh, so many lions.
Yeah.
And a lot of horses. I was like, I wanted you to name 5 that had animals on it. I was like, that's way too easy. I have to have them name like 20. I'm like, that's going to take too long. Name 5 that aren't horses or cats. Now that's actually tricky.
Stingray, yep. Thunderbird. Pontiac Firebird. Dodge Hornet. That will come up soon.
Lamborghini. I'm surprised you didn't mention Lamborghini.
Oh, yeah. Alfa Romeo is a snake. Yep. Eagle. Yeah. The Saab is a griffin. That's true.
Surprising number of griffins. A lot of griffins.
Gumpert is a griffin, yeah.
Vauxhall is also a griffin.
Abarth. Yeah.
Dodge has the Ram. Ram.
Yeah. Looks like you missed Roadrunner, though.
Yeah, I didn't put it. I thought about it, but it wasn't. I couldn't recall to have it on the outside, but I did have it on the air cleaner. If you got the, like, 440 Super Commando or whatever. The Coyote Duster, as it was called. So, yeah.
Cool.
All right. This is your question for me.
What vehicle has the longest driving range? Gas, EV, or somewhere in between?
Not an EV.
Okay, well, I will actually... Yeah, you just do your best to guess. And the next page is a hint.
Okay, now is this... The picture is up there, so I don't want to look at it. What do you qualify as... Because there's a bunch of experimental stuff out there that had, like, insane ranges. Like, what are we talking about? Like,
we're talking about production vehicle that you can buy option from the factory. I'm not talking about a pickup truck with a gas tank in the bed that can go across the country.
Not the EV one. What was it?
XL1.
XL1. Technically that sold, didn't it? Didn't they make like 50 of them or something?
Yeah. I'll narrow it down for you. Vehicle's currently on sale.
Okay. I'm thinking diesel. I'm thinking your... What was it? Passat?
It was a Golf.
It wasn't a Golf. Your hatchback, what was it?
That was a Golf.
It was a Golf?
Yeah. It was a Golf sport wagon.
Oh, okay. And that, how many miles of range did that have?
On a good day, I could get a little bit over 600.
Yeah, that's wild. Trucks. Like a diesel truck? Do I have to, like, name...
All right, go ahead and go to the next one. It's one of these 4.
Is that top left truck, that Ram, is that a diesel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that might be it.
But we have the Kia Niro, the Dodge Ram 1500 EcoDiesel. The Kia Niro is the hybrid, by the way, not the EV. The Honda Accord hybrid. Mm-hmm. And the Lexus LS 500H hybrid.
That does not look like a car with a lot of range. What engine's in that Lexus?
A V8.
Really? And that's even on... It's a close competitor.
Maybe it's not a V8 in the hybrid, but I know that starts with the V8.
Right, because I know that's actually like a pretty expensive car.
It's not as expensive as it looks. You can get one of those for under 100 sometimes.
Yeah.
You can get a used one for like 80 something.
It is very tough to picture a V8 having more range than a Civic. Or Accord, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if the hybrid had... Now that you mention it, I don't know if they just added a hybrid system to the V8 or they changed the engine. Because who would buy that without a V8?
Yeah, for me, it's...
And the truck's a V6.
That's not the diesel.
I'm pretty sure the EcoDiesel's a V6. No, the big diesel's a V6. The 6.7 is a V6.
It's a inline 6, I thought.
Is it? Okay, either way.
So. It's then, the Cummins, right?
Yeah, this is a 3-liter, so that's probably is a 4-cylinder then. Could be 6. Either way, what do you think it is? I'm going to say
the Accord hybrid.
Okay, I will tell you that the one with the shortest range on this picture is the Kia Niro with 588 miles.
Okay, that's pretty good.
The next one is the Accord with 618 miles of range.
Okay.
The next one is the Lexus with 660 miles of range.
It was the Ram. I was thinking it was the Ram.
And it's the actual longest range is the Ram with 950 miles of range.
That's insane.
950 miles from the factory, because you can go from a 26 up to a 33 gallon tank. And it averages 29 on the highway with the diesel.
With a massive tank.
33 gallons.
Yeah.
So, and
that's insane.
With some careful driving, you might top 1,000 miles between gas stations. You can't top 5 miles between gas stations in your car. In fact, you can't even top 5 miles in your minivan.
I can't go anywhere in the minivan right now. The minivan decided it wanted to grenade its own transmission. So now our 72 CUDA is the most reliable vehicle we own.
So yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of that. Yeah. The 3 runner-ups are in the 588, 618, 660, and then 950 miles. Yeah,
I don't know if you're ever going to have an EV with that kind of range. Because it's almost like unnecessary range.
Yeah, but there is a hybrid coming in the form of the Ram Charger.
That has like 700 miles or something?
700 miles of range.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What is the first year the Dodge Dart was on sale? You can go to the next picture. It doesn't give it away.
Logan's a 65. That's definitely older than a 65. That's a Dodge Dart?
That is a Dodge Dart. It's a Dodge Dart Phoenix convertible.
Looks like a Chevy.
A little bit, yeah. They were all copying their homework back in the 50s.
Yeah.
I guess they've been copying each other's homework.
I guess if you fast forward 70 years from now, all the cars now will look similar. That looks like mid to late 50s.
Final answer?
56.
It actually says right there in the picture, 1960.
Okay.
That is definitely retro looking for 1960. Seems like 60 should look newer than that.
Yeah.
But they changed it pretty quickly to the body style Logan has.
Okay.
I think it was 3 years until until that major body style change. That's not even, it doesn't even look like the same category of car as Logan's car. But I like the look of that. It's pretty cool.
I think it's cool.
All right, next question. What is the last year a new Dodge Dart was sold? They went out of production.
Well, was it sold elsewhere or was it only sold here?
I'm pretty sure it was sold in Mexico and stuff. I'm talking about U.S. market.
Okay.
So when is the last time?
Because maybe they still sell it somewhere and I just don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to trip you up on that. The last time, what was the latest year a new Dodge Dart was sold?
2016.
Because 2016 is when they went out of production. So they might have had some leftover.
You're not saying when they stopped making it. You're saying when a new one was sold.
Yes.
So like there's been a zombie Dart that has been just living on a dealer lot.
I will say that in the year that this happened, and every year before it, more than one was sold per year.
Wow. Because I know there was like a Dodge Viper that sold like 6 months ago or something. And that's been out of production for about the same time.
Yeah. But I will say it's actually like a handful at a time each year.
Wow.
That it happened after it was out of production. Which tells you it's not 2017, right? Because there's probably a bunch left over.
2022?
No. 2023.
Really?
3 new ones sold last year. Q3 of last year.
That's got to be...
New on the lot. 2016 Dodge Dart.
I wonder either A, what kind of incentives the dealer offered.
Oh my gosh.
Get that car out. Or just how uninformed that person was. Like, oh, that's cute. Not knowing.
It's 7 years old.
And like wasn't a particularly great car to begin with.
But the other thing is, we don't have the numbers for this year yet. We won't know until next year if one sold this year.
Why?
Well, it was hard enough for me to find information for 2023 on sales numbers.
Oh, you're right. So, and we have half the year still to go. There may be one out there that sells.
There might be one out there, just sitting in a corner.
Maybe every year. There'll always be.
There's always another one. But yes, 3 sold last year, 5 the year before.
So there's a good chance that actually.
3 the year before that, like 7 or 8 the year before that. Man. And then in 2022, there was a Jalopnik article titled, "I'm the guy who bought a new 2016 Dodge Dart in 2022." And the subtitle was, "Help, my wife will leave me." And it just goes, he wrote it under a pen name, and you're going to have to beep this, but his pen name was like Jason Shitface or Shit Drunk or something like that.
So known for making great.
Yeah, and he just goes on and on about how catastrophically stupid he is. He's like, I skimmed it, but he's just talking about how stupid he is. He's like, normally I just gargle marbles and yada, yada, yada. And like, just how catastrophically dumb he is just on a regular basis. And he's like, and now my wife won't let me touch her. Please help. Someone send help. Signed, Jason Shitface. So it had nothing to do. It was just taking the piss out of whoever actually bought one of these.
That's really funny.
And that was in 2022. They still sold another 6 units after he made that article. New? With no miles on it? Yeah. Just so you know, I did look on Auto Trader to see if there were any new ones available.
Oh, you didn't see any?
None.
Okay.
A bunch of them listed as new with over 100,000 miles on them.
Yeah. Wow, over 100,000 miles.
And listed as new.
That's surprising.
It's probably because somebody listed it mistaken, like made a mistake in like how it was put up. But yep, that was it for my trivia. You have noticed though that all 6 of the cars that I've shown you are all red.
I have noticed.
I got through 4 of them when I realized they were all red. And
So
then the last 2, I was like, I'll just get red ones. And on that top one, I made sure they were like facing each other. So I thought maybe you'd like that.
I did like that. Thanks. All right.
Your new segment? Oh, guess the car. Ooh.
Guess this car.
Ooh.
Guess this car by this zoomed in picture.
Ooh.
Level easy.
Okay.
I think.
Easy. Oh, Kia EV or Ioniq 5. Mm-mm. With this little thing coming up right there?
That's a very distinctive feature, but that's not the car. I thought for sure you would notice it. Maybe it just sticks out to me, but I think it's a cool little feature. Once you see the whole picture, you'll never not notice it again.
Is it Mazda 3?
There's also no door handle on this back door.
Oh, it's up in the plastic. Oh, it's a new Prius. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I will never not see that again.
Yeah.
And it totally goes up into the back with that body line where the 2 pieces meet.
Someone
just like
actually
the EV6.
really took their time.
They really did, yeah.
Which I love to see.
Yeah.
And the wheels are big. Like, it actually looks good.
It's not bad. You know what? From this angle, it doesn't look that different from that CRX.
Totally. I think that's... The CRX, I think, has just a fun profile, and I think this looks similar from a side profile. All right. Well, this is definitely going to be easier. Guess this car by the zoomed-in picture.
Oh. Nissan Z.
Yep. You got it.
Even just the color gives it away.
Yeah, I had just the grill bit in there, and I feel like that was a little too hard.
I would have gotten that because
You would have?
Yeah. I watched a detailed breakdown on the design language of this vehicle, so I would have gotten that.
Okay. It's surprising because I had it just zoomed in here.
Yeah, these little pill things, they're actually taken out of a design element from the early Zs.
That's cool.
So.
Yeah, Nissan Z. Okay. Guess this car by the zoomed in picture.
Pagani Huayra.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez. How'd you guess that?
Go back. One, the F1 style nose, and also right here, that little silver bit, that's the actuators for the active arrow that moves fins up and down. Because it could have been a Zonda with that nose, but that little silver bit gave it away as a Huayra.
I'm going to talk more about this car in a little bit, but that actually is a one of one.
That one specifically?
This one specifically. This I'm going to talk about
The
it.
blue carbon fiber?
Well,
No, they call it carbotanium, right?
Yeah, it's carbon titanium. What's really unique about this is the only manual Huayra.
Ooh. Is it made for the Sultan of Brunei?
I don't know who it is, but he worked with them for 18 months to make this car.
Wow.
And it's a one of one. And you know how Pagani is about their engineering and mechanics, and if you think the shifter is going to be an absolute piece of art, you are absolutely correct.
Okay.
So I'll talk about that later. All right.
Got another one?
Yep. Guess this car by the zoomed in picture.
Audi e-tron. GT.
I don't know if it's GT. Oh, it is GT. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, that was... I never know. Like, sometimes it stumps you, and I'm like...
Yeah. Like, that Prius took me a second, because it was just like, look at this blank white sheet of paper. Tell me what it is.
It's that crease, though. I was like, that's pretty...
You're like, level easy.
Yeah.
Here's a hard one.
Yeah. All right. This next one's kind of deceptive, but I'm really curious if you're going to get it.
That is a Dodge Viper GTS.
Yeah. Yep.
2001.
I'm not exactly sure on the year, but it was on a Bring a Trailer. It's actually for sale.
Do you think it was deceptive because those louvers are on a TVR Cigaris?
I thought it was deceptive because it's kind of hard to tell what part of the car you're looking at. Like, this could be the rear.
I knew immediately that was either, like, just looking at the louvers over the front wheel well, I was like, that's a TVR Cigaris. Mm-hmm. But the TVR Cigaris, they're tilted back. Mm-hmm. So it had to be a Viper GTS. Is this why people say that I'm autistic in the...
Could be.
in the comments? Thank you for everyone repeatedly calling me an autistic child.
I think it's funny.
Despite being not autistic and also 30.
One of those is true.
That is a Toyota GR86.
Yeah. I kind of like this color combo, the black and the white.
Yeah, the black in the middle of the hood looks good.
I like that. Actually looks pretty cool.
If it didn't weigh so much, I would totally...
I mean, everything weighs a lot compared to a Miata.
That's true. It does weigh, for reference, 3,000 pounds less than the new Charger.
Is that more than double its weight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's about 2,800 pounds, that car.
Yeah.
And the new Charger is 5,800 pounds.
So is an Escalade.
It will never not be funny that their two-door muscle car, sports car, whatever they want to call it, their two-door car is 5,800 pounds.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know, where else can we put these lead bricks? I don't know what to do with them.
Someone's like, I got an idea.
Porsche actually did that. They added lead to the front of their cars to weigh them down.
Weight balance. Instead of just moving the engine.
Yeah, no. They're never going to do that.
Yeah. And every year that goes by, they don't do that. They're even more motivated to not do it.
They're deeper and deeper in that trench.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to get, if they do move it, it's going to cause so much more of a stir than a mid-engine Corvette.
Well, and, yeah.
And you know what they could do? They could just inch it forward like 3 inches.
A little bit at a time.
And the next year move it in like another inch, and they'll still just call it rear engine when eventually it's not. There is a rear seat,
isn't there?
Yeah, in name only.
Right. But
it's a rear seat, like I always say, for amputees.
You'll have to not have a rear seat if they keep moving it forward.
Yeah, they'll just advertise it as, look how big the trunk is, because the trunk's behind the engine. Yeah. They'll just say, look, the trunk is bigger than ever in
That's
this
all
rear
they'll
engine.
say.
Yeah.
Is that the trunk is bigger. Like,
yeah.
Oh, wow, they managed to make the trunk bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the car's not sticking out further and further behind.
All right. Blind ranking. Rank these 5 cars without knowing what comes next. The category is concept cars.
Okay.
So you're going to tell me which of these 5 concept cars you wish went to production.
Okay.
These never did. Maybe you can say a derivative of...
I'm just going to say right now, if you have the Cadillac 16 on there, I'm going to say that's number 1.
I don't.
Okay.
But I have something close.
Cadillac CN?
Mm-hmm.
That's before the 16, though, right? Or no, that had to be after.
This car I fell in love with. It made an appearance in the movie The Island with Scarlett Johansson and Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
I fell in love with the car there. that's when I learned engines can be behind you. That blew my mind.
Yeah.
So
speaking of the Huayra, it's got a little bit of Huayra there on the hood.
yeah,
With the center
little
and then
creases.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a mid-engine.
I bet Pagani got his inspiration from.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, from a Cadillac concept car.
What year did that come out?
I want to say it was early 2000s. Isn't that GM?
Okay, because the Cadillac 16 came out like 2010, so it's probably the 16 came after.
Yeah.
But you know that's a Cadillac just from the headlights. That's something Cadillac's been really good at for the last 15,
Really
20
strong
years.
design language.
Yeah, that you can you know what it is without the badge.
Well, and it's a design language that hasn't aged. Like, it looked good then. It still continues to look good.
Yeah, designing things with just rulers is the way to go.
Yeah.
No protractors allowed in the building.
So 1 to 5, how badly do you wish they brought this to production?
That's pretty cool. I'm going to call that let's call that, yeah, knowing that there's no Cadillac 16, I'm going to call that a 3.
Okay. Cadillac CN number 3.
1.
Really? Mazda
Yes.
RX Vision.
I was hoping this was on there because the concept also had a rotary
Well, they're making rotary engines again, right?
as generators.
They're at least making rotary engines.
As generators. What's the beautiful part of a rotary engine?
The sound.
And the sound is coming from the
Acceleration, right?
high RPM.
Yeah. Which
'Cause
is
you
not going to be
can-
running at a high RPM if it's a generator. Yeah.
So it's like, you just double checking it's still recording? This one's still going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we're going to give you the most delicious meal served on a spoon made of feces. That's
So was this like a RX 9 kind of deal? Like a replacement for the RX 8 successor?
yeah. The idea was to make a. They had the I'm blanking on the name, but in like Forza, you could drive it around. The Furai in 2014, and it was like, this is the design language we will be using from now on until we change it. The RX Vision came out late last year.
No, it was a couple of years ago.
Was it? Mm-hmm. And that was what they were saying, is that this is a modified version of the Furai, which is Furi, which I think is like Savage Wind or something, which is cool.
After you eat Filibertos.
Yes. Well, that's ruined it.
That's all I can think of now.
There are actually pretty strong rumors. Who knows? But apparently the pop-up headlights will be back for the next Miata. Doesn't do it for you?
No. I like them in their time.
They look really modern.
If they look modern,
They don't pop all the way up. They just go like just a little bit with like a sliver of light. So it looks almost like eyebrows on the headlights.
okay.
It's actually pretty cool. But anyway,
So number 1.
that's number 1. And I mean, look at it. Look at the proportions of that thing.
It looks more like
Aston Martin.
almost, yeah, or almost like a Viper.
The vents on
really
the upper
long
part
hood.
of the hood is Aston Martin for sure.
You know what's interesting is those aren't reflections right here.
That's lights.
That's
yeah.
actually a light, yeah, which I didn't realize till I saw a different picture of it.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, so number 1.
The Dodge Circuit EV, which is a Tesla Roadster with a Dodge badge. 5. Don't care.
Yeah. It could have been really good for them if they got their EV start back in 2010 instead of 2025. Yeah. They're like just now hopping on the bandwagon, and I feel like that train's like
It's gone.
already passed. Yeah.
If they had this and Hellcats on sale at the same time, people would not be having like, oh my gosh, it's replacing the Hellcat vibes.
Yep, for sure.
They also would not be selling the slowest selling vehicle in the United States.
Well, and if they had done the groundwork for EV production, they could probably to this day continue making Hellcats because they'd have EVs that could be offsetting the Hellcats.
Okay, scratch that. 1.
You made the Mazda one.
2.
Okay.
Because
the implications, not necessarily the car.
Yeah, I could care less about the car, but if it meant that they could still have Hellcats,
that's a lot of ifs. Are you moving it from 5 to 2?
yes.
Okay.
I really want that to go to production.
I wanted to go to production.
Except for one thing.
Huh.
I do not want a stupid hydrogen engine.
Yeah. It's...
You know what? The hydrogen engine makes it it's okay to be at number 4. Even though it looks freaking amazing. It looks really cool. So good. It's ridiculous. And from what I've heard, it drives amazing.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Yep.
Do you know it? It looks like a better Nissan Z than the Nissan Z. How the front of the hood dives.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really cool. Somebody made, I don't have a picture over here, but somebody made a render of what an actual production version, because a production version won't look like that. Maybe like a super homologated, like...
Something, yeah.
But like the ones you'd see on the road that they'd have to sell 1 million of to justify. Someone made that, and I actually like it better because it looks grounded. It looks like a real car you could buy.
Not like a race car.
As cool as that is, like
with a riveted-in window.
Yeah. And it looks really cool. All right, last one. So this one has to be your number 5 then.
Mm-hmm.
The Jaguar CX-75.
I don't care about that car.
This one actually made it really far to a point.
It looks like it.
To a point where they actually had like, I don't know, how, like enough that I've seen several different colors of this. And out in like the real world pictures too. But it never was like officially produced. And apparently recently... somebody did whatever work needed to be done to make one of those prototypes road legal. So it technically exists, but
in a one-off.
Mm-hmm. And guess what year that came out in, styling wise?
That if it's a concept, it generally comes before that styling generation, and that grille screams to me 2012, 2013. So I'm gonna guess that's a 2011.
I think it was 2010.
Okay.
Which for a lot of other cars coming out in 2010, this actually looked like that looks pretty modern.
Now. Other than the grille, it looks really modern.
Mm-hmm. They use a different badge now.
Clearly mid-engine.
Yeah. I think that looks really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Good list.
Cool.
All right. Blind ranking. Rank these cars 1 to 5 without knowing what comes next. The category is Bring It Back. These are cars that are no longer made.
That I most want to have back.
You wish they made. And made in whatever way you wish they're made. Not like a Blazer kind of thing. But like...
Right.
Keep the essence of what it was, but in a modern flavor. Right. I think of like the old Challenger and the Challenger when it came out in 2008. Like it embodied everything that the old Challenger was. Obviously it had... airbags and whatever, but it captured what the original was. So, number 1 is what you want to be brought back the most. Toyota MR2.
I've seen talk of this. They're talking about putting the 3-cylinder in it that's in the GR, in the Yaris, and I'd be pretty interested in that. Just as a fan of having a car in that segment, I'd be really interested. So I'm going to call that a 3.
That's mid-engine, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Rear-wheel drive?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
It's also, even though smaller, still heavier than a Miata.
Wow.
Because of the extra bracing you have to do for the mid-engine. Chrysler Crossfire, I really wish they would bring that car back. I love the way that looks.
But like a modern version of it.
Mm-hmm. That fixed the problem with that silver band around the windshield peeling off. They all are peeled off.
And it doesn't look good anyway.
No, I don't like the silver band. I mean, I could take it or leave it. It kind of frames the windshield really well. Like you see how it comes forward on the windshield? I actually really like how that looks. But it doesn't have to be silver. Anyway, I would call that a 2.
Okay. So you want that more than the new MR2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That would be cool. It would be cool that they could compete in that segment again, but they won't. And they, if they could bring the Chevy SS back and put a big V8 in it and a manual, then I would absolutely buy the CT5 Blackwing, because that's what that is.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but like a cheaper blue collar man's.
Yeah,
Chevy
if I can get a CT5 Blackwing for $30,000 less, then sign me up.
Totally.
So,
and
but it's not number one because I'm expecting something. I always expect you to put like the thing I would be most interested in at the very end.
I don't always try to keep you on your toes.
Okay.
This one I thought would be up there.
I'm gonna call that a 4.
I would put that as number 1 for me if they could ditch the rental car styling.
Because it looks like an Impala.
So boring.
A beautiful drive served to me.
Okay, so this is either your number 1 or your number 5.
5.
5? You don't care for a new Evo?
I don't care for a new Mitsubishi.
Right, but what if Mitsubishi just like said, we're not doing this electric thing, we're going to make an Evo 11?
That would be cool, and I think it would be amazing, but I still couldn't drive it.
Just because it's a Mitsubishi?
There's not enough vape pens in the world to make me dumb enough.
Jeez.
I could wear white sunglasses and rip the sleeves off my shirts all day.
I mean, you can do that already without having to own an Evo.
I would have to lose a lot of IQ points.
I like the Evo.
I think
it's one of the first cars I buy when I get a new Forza game.
It's a really cool car for the money. It's a good-looking car. I just can't get over the type of people that drive them.
They've ruined it for you.
It's exclusively people who chew on marbles.
All right, well, you better move on before you, say something that'll get us canceled.
Only...
Yeah. You're like, wait, I'm not finished. Good. I haven't gotten to my slurs yet. So that's your number 5. That means this is your number 1. Yeah. The car you wish they brought back the most.
Okay, let's see it. That's fine with me.
A modern S2000. Is the S2000 a bespoke platform?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it would be a direct competitor to the Miata. Front engine, rear wheel drive, 2-seater, bespoke platform.
It's actually really unstable at high speed.
Oh, really?
From what I've heard. So you actually have to add some weight to the car by putting paneling underneath. If that came out this year, I would be like, that looks great. That is not a bad looking car. In fact, just use the same tooling, Honda. Just go put that back into production. Exactly the same thing with a 9,000 RPM 4-cylinder. 9,000 RPM.
So you'd be happy with a modern version of that was stable?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not like I go at high speed anyway.
It's nice to know you could.
It's nice to know that if I'm on the highway, it's not going to get jumpy.
Yeah. All right.
Cousin cars. You got cousin cars for me this time. I'm the only person that's done cousin cars so far.
You're going to like this.
Okay, hit me.
I had to go pretty obscure because
Man, you did a ton of work on this slideshow this week.
Thanks. I had to get pretty obscure because you're really good at these.
Okay, let's see.
This is a Dodge Attitude sold in Mexico. Cousin cars is a flattering way of saying badge engineering.
See, I thought it was an unflattering way of saying it because I always think of like Alabama cousins.
Okay, well, that's not what came to mind for me.
Okay.
I thought it was cars that were related, but...
Oh, man, that blob of nothing. Is it a Chevy Aveo? No. It
is such a common car, you have trouble placing it.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint.
When was this produced? Is it still on sale looking like that?
No.
Okay.
No, this is early 2000s. The only thing different
is the front grille.
No, grille's the same. Is the Ram sticker on the front
Oh,
badge.
It's a Corolla.
No. You're on the right track though. Do you want me to show you? Or do you want to guess?
Hyundai Accent?
Yes. It is a Hyundai Accent. I tried to find a picture that was the exact same angle.
Yeah, I tried to do that for mine as well when I did cousin cars. It is exactly the same.
Look at that lazy Dodge sticker just
it is exactly
slapped on the front. So backstory here. Hyundai didn't sell cars in Mexico. Dodge actually has a pretty strong foothold in Mexico. A lot of their cars, even the ones that are sold here, at least the engines, are built there. And a lot of cars are sold in Mexico that aren't even sold here.
Mm-hmm. Dodge Neon is sold there now.
Yeah.
Has been for years.
A couple others as well. So they made a deal with Dodge and just to kind of test the market waters, sold a Hyundai Accent there branded as a Dodge. Now I say branded
Very loosely branded.
Because they could tell if the car would sell there without having to introduce it as like a new brand and try to earn market trust that way.
With, let's be honest, a pretty uninspired offering.
It did well enough that they kept the Dodge Attitude around for a second generation. Now, if you thought that was lazy badge engineering, what car is this Dodge Attitude? You may notice this picture is a little blurry. That's because this is the actual promotional image of this Dodge Attitude.
With a Hyundai badge.
They didn't even bother to change the badge. So this is badge engineering that they didn't even change the badge. It has an Attitude sticker on the back. And it's still sold at a Dodge dealership. It's warranted through Dodge. It's serviced through Dodge dealerships. They just cared that little. Is that crazy?
And that comes from that era where all of them look the same. So like the Veloster, the Accent.
Well, what car? This is a Dodge Attitude, Jordan. What car is this?
The Hyundai Elantra GT, the Elantra, the Accent, it's the
You're
Accent.
right. It was a Hyundai. How'd you guess?
Who would have thought?
They didn't even change the badge.
In the promotional photo, it's just
anywhere on the road.
Really?
On the road.
They didn't even change the badge for the cars they sold.
No. They're driving on the road with the Hyundai badge, but they're sold as a Dodge. They didn't even bother to change the badge.
I thought that was just they were lazy in the promotional photo.
No.
No freaking way.
They just didn't care
at
all.
My gosh.
You go to a Dodge dealership, you can buy a Ram, you can buy whatever. You can buy a Dodge Attitude with this mysterious H badge on the front. Yeah. I'm glad you're surprised by that because my mind was blown. I was like, wow, they made a mistake in the promotional image. They forgot to swap the badge. Like, no, I saw pictures of this car on the road as taxis, as regular cars, and it's the Hyundai badge. But you look up Dodge Attitude in Mexico, and that's what it shows up as. It wasn't a mistake. They didn't even bother to rebadge it.
I can't believe that.
Right?
Oh my gosh. Do you know what I would rebadge? If I could make it look good, which I couldn't, I would like to use the Japanese Mazda badge from that one they use on the RX-7. It looks like a little flame in the middle. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Just to have something a little different.
All right, I got one last cousin car for you. Okay. So what did they rebadge the Mitsubishi Mirage as? They looked at the Mirage and they said, you know what?
We need to turn it into something else. Yeah, I've seen it on the road. I've seen it on the road because they sold it in Mexico. It's the Dodge. It's not the Dodge Neon. It's Dodge Dart. No, it's a Dodge though, right?
It is a Dodge.
It's a Dodge. I don't know.
It is the third generation Dodge Attitude.
Oh my gosh.
Because Hyundai now sells cars in Mexico.
Oh my gosh. So it's
I don't know of a sadder generational decline of a car than the Dodge Attitude.
From Accent to
Accent to not even bothering to rebadge an Accent.
To putting on a bumper that doesn't even match the color of the rest of the car.
And this is their image too.
And the bumper doesn't match the color of the rest of the car.
At least they changed the grille.
It's the same shape.
No, yeah, but at least the insert is different.
And go back to the fog light there has black surround and that one has a silver surround.
That could be a trim thing. The grill is definitely Dodge, like a Dodge Crosshair.
I can't. You know my hate for the Mitsubishi Mirage.
Yeah, it's a Dodge Attitude.
I hate it more than I hate the Ultima.
Yeah. And it's actually, I was going to cover this because I know you hate it so much. They're selling actually quite a few Mirages. They're going up in sales. Mitsubishi's like, they what? People are buying that?
Well, Mitsubishi's like just sitting there like, and they go over the paint thinner and they're like, oh, why don't we make the worst car anyone's ever seen? And they'll buy it. And it actually worked that time.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, let's make the second worst car anyone's ever seen. It's a Eclipse Cross. Like, I can't believe it's not selling.
Yeah. So yeah, Dodge Attitude. What a sad life. Generational decline.
Yeah, attitude. The attitude is sadness.
Yeah. All right, got one more cousin cars for you.
Okay.
Three cousin
it's
cars.
Dodge Attitude.
No, that's the most recent one as far as I know. I don't know what.
Still ancient. Still from like 2009.
Yeah. All right, so what is the cousin car to the Audi e-tron GT?
The Porsche Taycan.
Okay. I actually didn't know that.
Really?
I did not know that.
The Audi e-tron GT is exactly the same car for like $100,000 less.
It has some Porsche like labels and stuff on it too. If you know where to look,
Doesn't surprise me at all.
like you open up the front or whatever, and you open up some panels, and
I much prefer how the Audi looks.
Yeah.
And either way, though, I feel more cramped driving around in a Taycan than I do in my Miata. It's absurd.
Yeah,
Mostly,
I like the Audi better too.
Yeah, the Audi looks so much better.
It's probably just as quick, right? Or close
No, they kneecap it on the top end, so it's not as fast.
as the Porsche.
Yeah. And I don't think it got the new generation that the Taycan got. The new Taycan is lighter, has a longer range, and is better on the track. And it actually beat the Rimac Nevera around Nürburgring, I think.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it did. Maybe it was against all other. It was either against all other electric cars or all other four doors. I don't remember. But if it's against all other electric cars, then it did beat the Rimac Nevera.
That would surprise me.
Because it has this thing called, because in your suspension, for anyone that doesn't know, you have a spring, and you have a dampener. You have a dampener because you have a spring. The spring is there, so when you hit something in the road, it doesn't just shock the whole car, as if you had solid steel bars, right? It absorbs the energy. But the springs will just bounce your car down the road if they don't have anything to dampen them. So you have dampeners. And the dampeners they just resist the movement of the spring a bit. And if you have the right spring rate to the right dampener, you can make it so that you just have one bounce impacts, meaning you hit an impact and it just goes whoop, one bounce. That's a properly damped vehicle for the spring rate it has. Some cars that are underdamped will just keep going. Some cars that are overdamped will just go thud.
Yeah.
Really hard. So they have a spring rate of 40 pounds, which, if you don't know, is next to nothing on the new Taycan. That is...
Especially for a car that weighs 5,000 pounds.
What that means is it takes 40 pounds of pressure to compress the spring 1 inch. Imagine that.
You could push that. You can compress out with your hands.
Yeah.
Not something you should be able to do normally.
No, but their dampeners are like super high-tech hydraulic dampeners. And they can increase and decrease pressure in the dampeners so that the whole car, especially around a track, the dampeners are actively changing the pressure on each wheel.
So the dampener's almost doing part of the job of the spring.
The springs are just there so that the car can sit still and off, basically. And then when it's going, and because of this active whatever spring rate, it actually needs to be on an EV system because it runs at a higher voltage. The motor or whatever, the pump that runs this thing runs at a high voltage, so it needs to be on an EV, which is why it's not on the 911, and it's why this also beats a 911 around the Nürburgring.
That's crazy. I'm surprised they allowed that.
Yeah. So, Jason Fensky from Engineering Explained has a long and excellent video on it. And one of the engineers was in the comments, and he was saying, like, I cannot thank you enough for illustrating how much work we put into this car.
That's cool.
We get so much hate for how much this thing weighs. But the fact that we got it around the Nürburgring that fast should tell you how hard we work.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
all right. What is the
Dodge Dart?
Okay.
The Fiat Viago. I almost put this in last time.
Really?
Yeah, and it also looks exactly like a Dodge Dart.
It does, yeah. I should have done the back. The taillights look different, more than the headlights do.
Yeah, aren't they like pods instead of a
It doesn't
bar?
have the light bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dodge Dart. That last one?
Mazda Tribute.
Oh, yeah, Mazda was owned by Ford at the time. That is a Ford Escape.
Very good. Yeah. Ford Escape.
Yep.
Yeah, you crushed those. Except for the Dodge Attitude.
Dodge Attitude, yes.
I mean, those are Mexico market cars, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect you to know
I'm pretty
those.
proud of the Huayra. Guessing
Yeah,
the Huayra.
that was really surprising. All right, moving on to our discussion segments, we will cover the news. So I want to do kind of a micro segment on the Fisker Ocean. So this has become a saga now on this show.
It started off as, Fisker might be in trouble, to Fisker's in some real trouble, to
Well, Fisker's gone.
Fisker's gone.
Effectively. So they now need to sell all their remaining Oceans, and they're going to do it in a bulk deal, apparently. They're selling them to a single New York leasing firm called American Lease. They will purchase all the remaining vehicles.
So they're liquidating.
Yeah.
They're going from Chapter 7 to Chapter...
Chapter 11 to Chapter 7.
Yeah. So they didn't find a buyer. Now they're liquidating everything.
Yep, and they have to do it by July 12th,
Oh, geez.
which if you're keeping track, it's July 8th,
6th.
right? 6th? Yeah. Although this video will not be edited on July 6th. Today's July 12th.
Yeah.
Though that's optimistic too.
You can't edit a video in the amount of time they have to sell everything they own.
Side note, if this microphone thing works, this shouldn't take me nearly as long to edit.
Oh, good.
It is killing me having to manually cut between our cameras. Because that's what I have to do. Because your microphone thinks you're talking the entire time. Or at least the AI does. Okay, anyway. They have to sell everything by the 12th. This sale, they're selling 3,200 vehicles. I didn't realize they had that many. 3,200 vehicles.
I thought they would have more.
Really? In a bulk deal for $46 million, which means each vehicle is selling for between $2,500 to $16,500 on the high end, depending on the condition. Like either how complete the vehicles are or what they've been used for or whatever. They're just
That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing. If you spent that money just in the batteries and then sold them to like Tesla or whoever else is going to use them, like
for sure.
that's nothing.
On the high end, $16,500. That's the most that one individual one would have been sold for in this deal.
Wow.
So it's not complete. It's currently pending a court approval. The hearing's set for July 9th. The sale has to happen before the 12th in order for Fisker to fund their vital business operations.
So they're not closing their doors.
I don't know. And there's even more ambiguity when it comes to what they're going to do long term as far as supporting the Fisker Ocean.
Have you seen that meme going around where it's like a guy setting up a tiny domino and the big domino is something unrelated?
No.
He's setting up a domino like this big and it hits a domino slightly bigger and bigger and bigger, and they like label the tiny domino and label the big one. And then the tiny domino was
Marquez Brownlee.
it was an 11-year-old reviews a laptop.
Oh, yeah.
and then the big domino was an American car company is destroyed in the year 2024.
To be fair, I don't think it would have changed anything.
Me either. I don't think his review
It's just
affected
bad
anything.
timing, but it wouldn't have changed.
I don't think it would have affected anything. But yes, an 11-year-old reviews a laptop.
It was actually a remote to a laptop, but yeah.
Yeah.
So Fisker, apparently if this deal goes through, will no longer be obligated to honor warranties or provide any software updates. They'll be providing all the source code, materials, and proprietary software to the
Leasing firm. Jeez.
And when asked, Fisker says they have no comment on what kind of support current owners should expect.
Which is exactly what we said, right? If it goes under, expect nothing. Because you will be getting nothing.
Sale prices for Oceans right now are plummeting on the marketplace. I checked 3 hours ago. 2023, 2024 models with less than 10,000 miles are selling in the low 20s and dropping. So if you want at least like EV to drive as long as you can, or maybe to do your own little project on,
to take it and make it into take all the batteries and motors out of it and put it into like a sports car body or something. Finally make the Tesla Roadster that you never could.
Or do some sort of electric conversion on like a car that doesn't have a drivetrain or something.
Yeah.
That's actually a hell of a deal.
To get the batteries and the motors and everything?
And some of these have like 1,000 miles on them. Selling for like $23,000.
Yeah, if you wanted to get Nissan Leaf batteries out of a crashed Nissan Leaf with a ton of miles, it'd cost you like $10,000.
Yeah. No, and this is like decently good drivetrain, as far as I know, motors and batteries and all that. So even if you didn't want to drive the car itself, like just the materials in there alone are worth way more than what the car is actually selling for, which is just wild. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, just a little update on that. It's kind of sad. I would have liked to see them.
I wanted to see them succeed too.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm not going to laugh at them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, you should see the Reddit posts of people who bought this car for like $65,000 last year. They're
not happy.
Less than thrilled.
Not happy.
But hey, I mean, that's kind of the risk, being an early adopter.
Yeah. Yeah. Tesla almost went that way. Except Elon Musk, he was very upset with the EPA because they got a rating on the original Roadster of like 250 miles or something. And he had guaranteed the people who had already put their money down for the original Roadster 300 miles of range. And instead of doing the route that Fisker went, which is like everything's fine, no one look over here, everything's fine, Elon Musk basically did town hall meetings with owners, with people who were stockholders, not just stockholders, but like they had an interest in Tesla succeeding. And he just did like, hey, we managed to get this much extra range by going with thinner glass. We managed to get another 3 miles today because we made a deal with Goodyear to change the tire texture or the tire grip, whatever it is, right? And then eventually, it was late, but he got them like 320 miles. And everyone was involved in the process. And even taking tips and ideas from the public.
Yeah. I mean, not everyone has the liquidity to delay something that long.
Right.
Fisker doesn't
For example, Fisker didn't have that.
They have till July 12th.
Yes.
So, it's not going to happen.
But had they started that way 2 years ago, and they really focused, not having the Ocean and the Alaska and all the one thing, and do that one thing.
They were over ambitious. Yeah.
They bit off too much thinking that the EV market was only going up.
Yep. All right.
I think you went over all that already.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
The Huayra.
This is the Pagani Huayra Epitome. And this is, I'll talk more about what else is unique to this car, but really the headlining thing, everything you're going to see news articles on, is that this is the first and only manual Pagani Huayra. So for context, this is a single example vehicle designed in collaboration with their in-house design team and the prospective client, who I can only imagine
has more money than God.
Because imagine wanting to work with Mazda to make a custom Miata just for you. How ungodly that Miata would be. Now imagine you want to do that with a Pagani Huayra. Right? You could, astronomical. I didn't see any figures as far as what this costs, but I couldn't imagine.
Base price on one of these things is easily over $1 million.
You're funding, this is the only one. You're funding all of the development.
Research, development, all the engineering, all of the retooling.
Which for a car that you're going to sell 1 million of, you can kind of distribute those costs over all of the cars you're going to sell.
For a car that you're going to sell a few hundred of, like the Huayra, then you have to sell it for $1 million. But a car that you're selling one of.
Yeah.
Now they can start from a pretty much done vehicle, and then they may have to re-engineer the transmission tunnel, but they are going to have to. There's not a vehicle. Those are so much smaller than they look.
Well, and everything is so compact. Like, it's not
It's
like...
exactly where... It's not a F-150 where you have all the room in the world to
Or
change
my
out.
car where it's like, oh, I want to do a manual swap. So you pull up the carpet and,
Cut a hole in the bottom and just stick a manual in it. Yeah.
No, this is an 18-month process. Almost a year and a half. It was like 17 months. So it has the AMG-sourced 6-liter turbocharged V12. This one outputs 864 horsepower, which, if I'm not mistaken, is more than like the Huayra R even. The transmission is the first and only manual transmission fitted to a Pagani Huayra. Probably the only one that's ever going to exist because they're on to, what's the new one?
I don't know.
I can't remember what it is. But yeah, it's a gated 7-speed with an electronically controlled diff, rear-wheel drive. The body is carbon titanium, a monocoque with a unique carbon fiber panels. That blue color is unique. It has exclusive giant rear wing and front rear bumpers are unique to that car. And
it looked like the LED lights there on the front are not standard.
Unique daytime running lights. Exactly.
Okay.
That's unique to this car as well. Obviously, the main
so it's
thing
more than just the transmission.
Yeah, but the transmission's like
The thing.
So yeah, this is called the Huayra Epitome. I don't know who the buyer is. Don't know how much it is. If I had to guess, oil
Tycoon of some kind, yeah.
It looks stunning, but they all look stunning.
Look at that wing. Oh my gosh.
The titanium exhaust in the back is heated in a way that it matches the color of the carbon fiber. Because, titanium will change color with how it's
tempered. Tempered.
how it like cures and all that. So it matches perfectly.
Yeah, like if you heat a bar of steel, it'll go like to a light straw, to a dark straw, to like a brown, to then blue, and then...
So it matches the carbon fiber, which you could not find two like more different things to try to match. Imagine how much that project of this car costs on its own.
This is an ungodly sum of money. This is an unheard of amount of dollars.
Right.
Or, let's be honest, whatever the country that this guy's from. Because
Ruples or something.
Yeah. Look at that.
Oh, no.
And I thought my aluminum pedals on my Miata were cool.
It is just art.
Every bit of it.
Like, even people who don't care
the
for
pedal
cars.
is the shape of the Pagani symbol.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't notice it. But yeah.
I didn't know that either, but I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's the Pagani badge.
It's like leather stitched flooring there too, and all the mechanical work.
I would have to get a shower just to sit in this thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like, even people who aren't car people, you have to admit there's just like such craftsmanship and art that goes into
the one-off milling that went into every component, and my goodness.
Now, just the coup de grace here, the shifter, is just
my heavens.
Bonkers.
That is even cooler than the Spiker C8.
Yeah.
Which was already wild.
Look, all of the assembly.
Oh yeah,
is visible.
look, these hoops here, that's the same as the edge of the Pagani symbol.
Yeah.
Which they use that hoop everywhere. I mean, it's right there.
And it's all exposed, the whole assembly.
Oh my gosh. That's wild.
It's like when you're proud of the engineering and the mechanics of like what you're making, like, yeah, like of course you're going to show it off,
I looked into getting a gate for my Miata.
Okay.
And you can have them like custom milled. But the problem is that unlike a system like this where it's connected to a linkage, that shifter goes directly down into the transmission. So the whole transmission shakes as you accelerate, which is what gives it the wagging dog like happiness to the shifter and all the extra feel that you get from having a direct connection.
So if it's gated, it would kind of hold it.
If it was gated, these little gates that stick out, because the shifter moves around so much in its shifter body and like that housing, they'd have to be just little nubs. They wouldn't like slide.
Otherwise, it would like rattle.
It would hit them, yeah. And first wouldn't always be in the same spot when you're accelerating. It feels like it is, but it's as far as where your shifter is geolocated in the cabin. the shifter knob is in a different spot when you're accelerating than when decelerating or whatever. So you can't actually have a gate unless the gates are so wide as to look ridiculous. I saw a picture of one. I'm like, I'm not putting that in my car.
Then it's like pointless.
Then it's just a metal surround with some nubs near it.
Yeah.
But that is gorgeous. I bet it feels amazing.
Yeah.
You imagine him sitting down and going like, okay, we're 4 billion deep.
Yeah. I can't even imagine how much this thing costs.
And he just puts his hand on that, like, clearly, like, what is that? A mahogany.
It's probably taken from
a tree in
the olive trees from the Garden of Gethsemane.
He's just, they
managed to
this
find
is from the
one.
tree of life
Yeah.
in Eden. But he puts his hand on it, and it just goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he would just go like, oh.
No, I wouldn't do that. I bet
no.
it.
No,
bet
it
that
probably
feels
just
amazing.
goes. Oh my gosh.
Probably right behind
Even
the Miata.
that
as far
little
as feel
collar, you have to hold the collar to shift into reverse like a wine glass.
goes. Yeah.
You'd put your thumb on the top. I had to do that in my Dart. They had a collar to shift into reverse. Mm-hmm. But like...
Isn't that what I do for your Miata too?
No, the shifter pushes down and sideways.
Oh, okay. That's right.
And yeah, but yeah, clearly that collar comes up. But I would do... You can't. In the Dart, I would reach over and grab it like with a big meaty claw and shift it that way. But you would have to come at it this way and scoop it and, yes, do a little this to the shifter because it's too tall to reach around. So you would have to, you can't do a reach around on this shifter. You would have to get underneath.
You better move on before you get too excited about this shifter.
It'd just hold it like a wine glass and just, yeah.
I can't imagine you really drive this very much.
I mean, he probably owns his own track and just grows around at 27 miles an hour to not risk crashing the thing. There is enough money in the world to not care about crashing a Miata. There is enough money in the world for some people to not care about crashing a Lamborghini. I don't think there's enough money in the world to not care about crashing that.
Just the time. You'd have to not completely start over, but they'd have to
rebuild it.
Yeah. You're not going to bring that to your local auto body shop. They're not going to.
Yeah, I mean, not like Steve's Auto Body.
Yeah.
Like, Okay, so I got some Market Watch stuff for you.
Okay.
Now, this may not be as sexy as a Pagani Huayra Epitome, but this is pretty interesting. So, June, as you might have expected, if you heard about the issues that we talked about on our last podcast with CDK Global, June tanked the end of Q2 sales due to the ongoing CDK Global issues, which, by the way, we are now in the third quarter of the year.
It still hasn't been resolved?
Not fully, but I'm just pointing out that somehow it's the third quarter of 2024 already. My 30th birthday is coming on very fast. Faster and faster every day. So CDK has restored what they said was most DMS services to most of their 15,000 dealers. Now, that hasn't stopped the lawsuits. They're facing...
Why are they getting sued if they didn't lose any sales?
Yeah, that's what they said. But the entire auto industry is down.
I mean, technically, if the entire auto industry is down, that's probably technically true because it's not like they could have gone somewhere else and bought a car.
No, because they're even being sued by customers.
Oh.
They're being sued by dealerships, manufacturers, and customers. And I gave up. I tried tracking down how many or what the nature of these lawsuits were. I just gave up. There's too many. But you want to point out a car company that knows what they're doing and is still strong? Toyota is still up 9% over Q1, which is a huge increase, especially considering what happened.
People couldn't buy a car for half of the month.
Yeah, people couldn't buy a car for the last 2 weeks almost. Or they could, but it was a big hassle, and there were a lot of issues with suppliers, and it was issues with everything. We went over it. So Toyota is still up 9% over Q1. Stellantis overall is down in Q2 21% over Q1. 21%. They're
It's rough.
hemorrhaging money. And remember when we talked about how Jeep and Ram were actually still selling pretty well? Not anymore.
Yeah.
The Wagoneer in the last couple months has been one of the worst selling cars in the U.S.
Worse than the Dart?
No. The Dart sold 3
Or not
last
Dart.
year.
Hornet.
Well, what vehicle is the slowest selling vehicle in the U.S. as of June 2024? And the answer for that is the Jaguar I-Pace. You should go on to the next slide. And right there, you see the Jaguar I-Pace? I'll go back real quick. I got to explain something. A good target for a dealership to maintain is about a 60-day supply. We talked about that, right? Mm-hmm. It's enough that you won't run out of cars to sell, but not so many that you're incurring extra costs from moving and handling that many vehicles. A market's day supply is a different number. And that is how many days, if a given auto manufacturer if Toyota never made another Camry, how many days of market supply are there until there are no more Camrys left to buy? That's the question, which is different. Okay, a market's day supply is similar, but from what I saw, it's about 80 days is the target. They want to have 80 days of market supply. So if someone can't buy one anywhere in Texas, there's one in Oklahoma they could get, right? If they're running out. Right now, the Toyota Camry has a 20-day market supply.
So they end up on the lot and they sell.
A couple months ago, the RAV4 had a 17-day supply, which means there's a shorter amount of supply than it takes to get the vehicle.
That's at the point when people are starting to track where those vehicles are and get to the dealership when they arrive.
Mm-hmm. Like tracking shipments,
Yeah.
A lot of these vehicles are being sold by the dealerships before they arrive. And then when they show up, the customer just comes in and buys it. These are Toyotas, though. Let's talk about the Dodge Hornet. The Dodge Hornet is the only vehicle to be in the top 3 slowest selling vehicles. So you might say the bottom 3 fastest selling vehicles in the U.S. It's the only car to be in that category every month this year.
Yikes.
And 3 out of those 6 months, it was number 1. The slowest selling vehicle. Now I'll go to the next one. The market day supply for Jaguar I-Pace is 575 days. So if they stop making I-Paces right now, they wouldn't run out
for a year
for nearly 2 years, or a year and 2/3, whatever it is, a year and 8 months. But look at the number that are for sale right now, 332. It's because they're just not being purchased. They're stuck on lots, they're not being produced, whatever it is. They're just not a mass market car right now. What is a mass market car? Say one that's selling that has like 15,000 out for sale. Oh, look, Dodge Hornet has 15,000 out for sale, and even still has a 550-day market supply. That doesn't mean that a given Hornet will sit there for 550 days. That's a different thing. That means that if they didn't make another Hornet, they would still be selling them for an additional 18 or 16 months or 20 months.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. There's a couple others on here that you would expect, but like the Ram 2500, the Ram 2500 and 3500 are some of the slowest selling vehicles in the world.
That's surprising. Well, is it because there's a new generation coming out and people don't want to buy?
That's not going to make them sink to the very bottom of the list.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think look, we got Jeep, Ram, Jeep, Dodge, 4 of the bottom 10 for last month. And they're all like, there's always a Jeep, there's always a Ram, and there's always the Hornet for every month I looked at.
It's not really a mystery why.
But these change because like incentive structures change, where like the manufacturer will put out 0% or $2,000 cash back or whatever, and they can change rapidly where these things sit on this list. So these aren't things where it's like a really hard slog to get up to the next slot. These change wildly. So the more important ones is not ones that are here once, which a lot of these, when I was looking month to month, were only here on this top or bottom 10 list once or maybe twice. It's the ones that are there every month. And that is remarkable to manage to be at the bottom every month. Yeah. You must be doing things very wrong. And there's always a Ram. There's always a Jeep, and there's always the Hornet. For the last 6 months.
How do you think the new Charger is going to fare?
If it came out when it was announced, they had enough brand cachet. They had enough to try to make that switch.
What I notice is even now, we are most of the way through 2024. I still see ads on Facebook like, grab life by the balls or whatever the
Dodge slogan.
And it's still pictures of Chargers and Challengers. It's not a picture of the Hornet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the ads I do see, I do follow Dodge. I follow their YouTube, I follow their Facebook, and I watch and see I haven't seen a positive comment on the Hornet anywhere.
Yeah. People would rather just buy the Alfa Romeo.
I mean, it's like 10 grand more. But you get arguably a better looking car, and you get a slightly nicer interior. But it's still a midsize SUV. And who's buying a midsize SUV from Dodge that costs 10 grand more than the equivalent Toyota?
And they haven't really made a successful midsize SUV. They had the Nitro.
They had the Journey, which lasted a long time, which is like
Journey did okay.
A larger midsize, had 3 rows. I guess the Hornet would be more like a compact SUV.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's just a tragedy, and they are hemorrhaging money. I wouldn't be shocked if Stellantis closed its doors. Remember I talked about how Chrysler was going to be... I said Chrysler was going to be dissolved by 2030. Mm-hmm. That was one of my first hot takes. Doesn't seem very hot.
If anything, that seems...
that seems like a 6 feet under cold.
What are they going to do for the next 6 years?
Yeah, how are they going to manage to stay alive for the next 6 years? Yeah. And it seems like, unfortunately, Dodge is going the same way. And Stellantis hasn't been putting the money where they need to put the money to keep those brands alive. They've always talked a big talk about how in these big mergers, there's none of your favorite brands, none of the brands with all this heritage are going away. We're not here to eliminate heritage. Sorry, I shouldn't be touching that. We're not here to eliminate heritage. None of these brands that you love are going to leave. And then they just don't fund anything for Dodge or Chrysler. They basically tell them, you got to put it on our platform. It's the same thing that happened with GM when they were acquiring all that stuff. Nothing had any personality. What was the difference between a Pontiac or a Saturn? There was no difference. They were all just exactly the same box. And there was nothing inspiring about any of it. So anyway, I'm sad to see that Dodge is going the way of the Dodo, and the Hornet is making sure that happens. No one, when Dodge goes under, is going to list on their resume that they worked on the Hornet.
Including Tim Knuskis.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was like...
He's like, see ya. I'm out of here.
I don't blame him.
But look at the 550 market day supply.
Yeah.
They can't keep more than 20 days of Camrys in the whole country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it.
That's surprising. I mean, not that surprising. Shocking more than anything. I was excited for the Hornet.
Me too. Do you know how many they sold last year? All of 2023?
Hornets?
Yeah.
20,000.
No. Well, think about the volume they're working in, because this is supposed to be in a market where cars are purchased in the millions.
Oh, I don't know.
9,000. They sold 9,000 Hornets last year. They can't possibly. That's betting it all on black and it comes up red. It's Fisker Ocean territory for failures. Mm-hmm. And it's also the same size as the Fisker Ocean. Who would have thought an oversaturated market?
It's very saturated.
Anyway, yeah. The total sold. I don't know. You can go on. I think that's all I've got. Is that the end of it? That's all we got?
I have my hot takes.
Oh, okay. Let's get some steamy hot takes.
Hot takes. So this is a controversial opinion that we have that we feel like sharing publicly. I don't know if this is that controversial. I think double round taillights are the best.
What does your car have?
Oh yeah, it does. Huh? It does. It does have double round taillights, huh? Let me give you a couple examples, and I'm not asking you to critique the car, just
The taillights.
the taillights, and also just kind of a theme of like what these cars can have in common. So these are just a few examples.
You're going to include, Nissan GTR, yep. And you're also going to include a C2 Corvette, I bet. Oh, Charger RT,
68 Charger. That is probably my favorite Mopar of all time. I love my Cuda, and I'll never get rid of it. But if somebody showed up with a black 68 Charger and wanted to swap me keys, I don't know. I might do it. Although I don't know if that would fit in my garage.
Is it that much bigger than a Cuda?
It's enormous. It's bigger than our van.
Wow. Elise?
Lotus. I think it's Exige.
Yes.
It's a Chevelle.
Chevy did the double taillights a lot. Okay, that's the F430? No. Yeah, that's the F430.
Yeah. The Enzo. Also, honestly, a lot of Ferraris have that as well. It's a Opel.
Those look good. Corvette, yep. C5, C6.
Yep.
C2.
They changed it up, most recent models.
C7 and C8, yeah.
They look good. No matter what you throw them on. Oh, yeah, there is. I did pick
Oh, look at that Cuda.
How
Wait, Cudas have double round taillights?
They do. 72 they do. And 73 and 74. How bad does that Cuda look? Like those tires.
That's a Fred Flintstone just wheel.
It's so cool. Anyway, you throw double round taillights and it just kind of works. It doesn't matter it probably matters to some extent. It probably matters to some extent the overall design language of the car. But like it doesn't matter if it's a car that's 50, 60 years old or a car that's out now. Like they look good. They always look good.
Yeah.
Double round taillights, I think they're just timeless.
Yep. Is that your last hot take? Is that it?
That's my hot take. Yeah, probably not that hot. But like these are all like cool cars. Maybe not every single one of them is for you, but like there's definitely a following for most of these cars.
Yeah.
And I think there's just kind of it's interesting. There's just one unique styling feature that transcended so many different brands, different types of cars, different generations.
Do you know why I think that might be?
They're simple.
People really like to have a mirrored design front to back. You'll see like the Genesis will have the same sort of slotted headlights and slotted taillights. That symmetry is really appealing, especially like when you're drawing up like renderings and stuff. And for like 20 years, those same headlight lenses were mandatory in all of the United States, and I think it extended to Canada maybe. But the those same round lenses were
the ones on my car,
the ones on your car, the ones on Logan Star,
the ones on that they still use on a Jeep.
Yeah, and then back to like I think 59 all the way up to like the mid 70s, they all had to have the exact same headlight lens. And if you have a round headlight lens, what looks good on the back? Round taillights. And you might say, well, the GTR came out way after that. Well, what did the early GTRs have? And these cars are now in our psyche, in our cultural psyche, as these are cool cars, and they have double round taillights. And because they do, new cars will copy what looked good at the time. That is my guess on why double round taillights are such a thing.
Yeah, it's tough to find one piece of styling that is just continues, for so long, and is just used across the board. It doesn't matter like the manufacturer or like domestic, foreign, like
look good. It looks good.
It just looks good.
It looks really good.
Yeah, that's all. That's my hot take.
Cool. We got anything else?
That's it. That is it.
Well,
Long episode today.
Yeah. Longer than I thought, because I came in with very little. This is all your legwork on this one.
Yeah, sorry. A lot of material.
It's all good. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, we'll catch you next one.
Bye.